guys are doing amazing and having a great day. This topic is stress. I don't have a video talking about stress. I've wanted to make a video on this for so long and now I'm finally doing it. I'm so happy to be doing a video on this because it's something that we all can relate to. No matter what our goals are, no matter what we're doing in life, there comes a time that we're all stressed. Maybe it happens all the time for you. Maybe you just want to have a better handle on it. For me, I have used stress to fuel great things in my life, not just, managing stress and coping with it, but actually to use all that energy, like I think of it as like this ball of energy, instead of using it for something bad and feeling sorry for myself and having a pity party and saying like, oh, there's nothing I could do, I'm just this stressed little person today. Instead of having that kind of energy, I use it towards great, amazing things, all things that I want to do in my life, I put it in that like new ball, a ball of power. I turn my stress into power, and that's what I want to teach you guys how to do today, how to deal with stress, why stress can be a good thing. So the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to stress is that stress is actually a form of fear. When you actually get to the root of what it is that you're stressed about, what it is that you're worrying about, what it is that's keeping you up at night or making you unhappy, when you get to the bottom of all that and like dig through all the layers and you're like, okay, where are these emotions coming from? Let me get deep, deep, deep into my little heart. You'll realize that it is some sort of a fear, some sort of a worry, some sort of thing in your life that you feel like you have no control over, that, anything can happen. It's sort of like that unknown. Like we're all kind of a little afraid of like the unknown. Like, what happens if I do this? But what happens if I do that? Okay, so what a lot of people don't know is that stress can actually be a good thing. Good stress is important. So even though that kind of sounds scary, like, ooh, stress is fear, I don't want fear in my life, like, don't want none of that, that can actually be a good thing. There's such thing as good stress, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Now, you don't want to completely get rid of all stresses in your life and just be like, la da 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 da, like floating around. No, we need some sort of driving force to get up and do things, to wake up and go to work. We need a driving force to want to study for our tests so that we don't fail. That kind of stress, that's good stress. That, I want to eat healthy because I want to better myself. I don't want to just eat whatever I feel like. I want to be, in a way, sort of stressed about, ooh, I don't really know what's in that crappy food, I'm not going to eat it. Or that, I should really work on my body, I'm going to go to the gym. All that is positive, good stress, and that's always what I call it. Positive stress is a good thing, and we need it. Back in the caveman era, they used their fear, their stress, to find food and to protect themselves from predators. That intuition feeling of, I feel scared or I feel stressed out, those are all natural feelings that humans need for survival, for, ooh, it's a dark alleyway, maybe I shouldn't go in there alone by myself. Those are all good stresses, good fears of protecting ourselves, and like I said, natural survival instincts. But there has come a time where we have turned that natural feeling that we're supposed to get, the good positive stress that our bodies were mechanically built to handle, we have turned that into something ugly and messy, and it's led to all sorts of bad things, like weight gain. So many people gain weight because of stress. Stress releases a hormone called cortisol, and I've talked about this in other videos, but when that hormone rises, we're more likely to store fat. We're more likely to have cravings. When we're constantly stressed, we also don't sleep well, which could also be a cause of weight gain or depression or sad or just really bad feelings. Stress can take over our life and really mess with our emotions and mess with our confidence. There's things that we might want to do, but then we let stress and fear get in the way and we say, but I don't know if I should do that. I don't know if that's the right feeling. I'm having this feeling. We get stressed that there's a line at Starbucks nowadays and that like we don't know if we're going to get our coffee before work. Like we have taken all the good parts of stress and we've made it into something big and ugly, and that's what I want to talk about today. Okay, so here's what to do. Now, I'm about to blow your mind because I said this to one of my friends on the phone yesterday who was so stressed, and I said this to her and she looked at her situation that she's super stressed about completely different after I said this, because it's true. And when I've been stressed, my mom said this to me. What I want you to understand about stress, and if you're stressed about anything right now, is that the majority of the time that we're stressed about something or we're worrying about something, what if this happens? What happens if that happens? I have a whole what if chapter in my Law of Attraction book. That's how strongly I feel about what if, and that it should be removed from our dictionary. But say you're telling yourself that, what if? Half the time, are you ready for this? It doesn't even happen. We make up all these things in our head and we say like, I'm so afraid, if I don't, pay this, I'm gonna lose that, and if I don't do this, that's gonna happen, and if I stop going to the gym, I'm gonna gain weight, and if I don't meal prep tonight, my diet's out the window. That won't happen. Just breathe. Calm down. The majority of the time, the things that we're stressed about, I want you to remember this, because this is very comforting and soothing to hear, is that majority of the time, the what if, all these fears you make up in your head, they're not real. They haven't happened. That's what fear is. It's fearing that something will happen. Even if it's happened to you in the past, that doesn't mean it's going to happen again. Fear is just something that we make up in our head or we imagine in our head. And going back to the caveman era, that's how we were built. We were built to see the worst case scenario because back then we had to see the worst case scenario. People were fighting dinosaurs and pterodactyls and stuff. Probably wouldn't have survived back then if you didn't see the worst things happening. That's how you protected yourself. Nowadays, we need to change that model of how humans behave and how humans think because that doesn't work for today's society. We have to adapt to what's going on now and what we can do about the circumstances now because we're not fighting off dinosaurs anymore. We're doing things different. So that's why this whole positivity, the whole law of attraction thing, they call it like the new age thinking and the millennials way and all these sorts of things. Like I'm hearing all these things about positivity, but that's not really what it is. It's always been around. It's just this day where we are now, this model of being positive, of seeing opportunity and seeing good things is how we're going to survive in the society that we're living in right now. So I like to look at my stress like this. On one side, there's the bad thing, the worst case scenario happening. And then on the other side, there's the best case scenario. I want you to train your mind to go straight here, the best case scenario. It's really hard, but I want you to think of it. It's only hard in the beginning when you're not used to thinking that way, but eventually when you start getting used to thinking that way, little do you start to go this way. You might say to yourself, well, these are all the bad things that could happen. And do you notice when you start thinking of all the bad things that could happen, you start building on top of that? So it's now, well, this is the bad thing that could happen. And now you have like sub-points. Like you have all these sub-points of bad things that can happen. Well, I want you to move into the direction of the good things that can happen. What are some good opportunities if you do pass your test? What happens if you do get a 90? What happens if you do lose 100 pounds? What happens if you do meet your soulmate? I want you to start moving towards that direction. You know how the law of attraction states that like attracts like, that the more you focus on something, the more you see it? Like for those of you that have my law of attraction guide, one of the things I say in the guide is to try to find a blue Jeep. And a lot of you guys were Snapchatting me, Instagramming me, emailing me right away like, oh my god, I keep seeing blue Jeeps everywhere. Well, that's because I told you, look for a blue Jeep. So in turn, your mind registered that and was like, I'm going to look for a blue Jeep. And bam, you see them everywhere. When really, you were probably seeing just as many, you just didn't notice. Well, the same thing goes for being stressed and seeking opportunity rather than the danger, rather than the, oh no, I'm going to fail, and oh no, this isn't going to work. The more you seek opportunity and good things happening, guess what? You're going to see so many good things happening. You're just going to be this magnet for everything good coming your way. Now you might be thinking, but what can I do in the heat of the moment? Like when I'm sitting in my car and I'm super stressed, or I'm at home and I just got the worst phone call, or I just got fired. Like what can I do then? Because in that moment, I'm only upset and I don't know what to do. So I have this prayer, I wrote it in the notes in my phone, and you can say, Dear God, you can say, Dear Universe, you can use whatever you want, whoever you believe in is up there rooting for you, just change the terms, but just for my sake, sometimes I say Dear God, and sometimes I say Dear Universe. Today we'll say Dear Universe, and I say to myself, and I just kind of sit. I like to do this not driving, even though sometimes I get the worst news driving. I try to do this like when I could shut my eyes. But I'll say, Dear Universe, I am facing a challenge in my life right now. Please help to reveal and shine light on my desired outcome or better. Thank you, and I love you. By me saying those words, by me saying, reveal the good thing or better, you're admitting that the universe or God or whoever you believe in has a path for you, and maybe it's not the path that you're on. Maybe there's another way to figure out what it is you're trying to do. Doing something or pursuing something, you're constantly failing, or things aren't working your way and there's a wall being put up every direction you go in, maybe that's the universe's way or God's way of saying, hey, this isn't the way I want you to do it. Like, understand that something better might come up. But you're at least being open to that happening. So that's why I always say, I hope it's my desired outcome, but if it's not, then I hope it's something better. I hope it's, you know, whatever's meant to happen. And I say that prayer, and that prayer is so soothing. Remember to deal with your stress head on. If you're upset about your body, if you're upset about your weight, if you're upset about your current job, if you're upset about your schoolwork and, you know, your grades, do something about it. Say to yourself, okay, this is some good stress coming in. This is some, you know, this is a little kick in the butt. This feeling that I'm getting, this is that instinct feeling, that natural human feeling that I'm supposed to get, that I know I'm worth more. I know that I could be doing better. It's sort of that wake-up call, like, hey, I'm better than this. I know each and every one of you is confident enough to know that you're better than what you're currently dealing with. If you're not living up to your potential, you're going to feel stressed about certain things. You're going to feel that feeling because you just know, hey, I could be doing better. So I love you guys so much. Make sure to check out my website. I have an ab meal plan on there. I also have a law of attraction guide, and I talk about some of this stuff in that guide. So I love you guys so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.